What is going on, guys? It is Brett. I'm going to react today to the very first Superman trailer from the upcoming James Gunn Superman film that is coming out July 11th next year, starring David Cornsweet as Superman. Of course, there's a lot of controversy, as there always is in this industry, around the replacing of Henry Cavill as Superman. So this is their first run at it. This is how they're going to officially launch the new DCU on the big screen. But let's watch this trailer. I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts on it. So here we go. I do think that people are correct that this does pay homage to Zack Snyder and the Superman universe that he was creating. I do like the colors, and I do think that the casting of both Lois and of Clark are both very, very good. Pa Kent is putting on some weight. Looks diabetic.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
Okay, Lex, to me, Lex has the best look out of all of them. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to Jesse Eisenberg. Should have brought John Cryer back. Kevin Spacey couldn't be done either. My first thought, honestly, was that it's extremely crowded. What did I see? I saw Superman, Lois Lane, Hawk Girl, Guy. We saw Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, Doomsday, Crypto, Daily Planet. Like, there's a lot going on there, and I think one of the fears when you're in this position, which so many of these things have been lately, which is, you know, they're launching a new universe, is that you worry that these first films are going to get bogged down in the characters and too much setup. So that is a concern. I did see some complaints that they thought this was too dark to start the trailer, but what I would say, you know, they said it evokes more of what happened with Zack Snyder's Superman in the serious tone of Man of Steel. But I think what I saw here, at least how I interpreted it, was the trailer starts with him like this, having been beaten down. Maybe Doomsday kicked his ass. But then at the end of the trailer, it concludes with him to the sky, and I whether that was on purpose, a choice of theirs, I can't say for sure, but that's the way I took it. I do not hate the colors. I saw a whole bunch of back and forth yesterday of people just absolutely losing it about the color grading in this. What it seems to me is that it leans heavily to blue palette white rather than what Hollywood tends to do these days, which is mixing blue and yellow, you know, the complementary colors, which I kind of critique all the time. Like, I understand that it looks good and visually it's appealing, but so much of what you see today is color palette blue yellow, or is blue yellow, that it feels like everything kind of runs together. And I actually like that just the removal of the overt amount of yellow kind of sets this apart from a lot of the films. It was one of my biggest complaints with Matrix Resurrections, or whatever that crappy one that they made last was that it no longer had that beautiful, unique look that the original Matrix had, you know, that dark, green, that dark black and green color palette that works so well for it. People were complaining about the hair. It's funny because I don't know what's the difference between this and the hair when he's with diabetic Pa Kent, and dad does look diabetic here, but it looks more natural when he's with his dad. Maybe it's because he's younger. I do love this here. So when I see these shots right there, if you didn't watch Superman and Lois, she really does. If I didn't look closer, I would have thought that was Bitsy Tulloch, who plays Lois in the television series. And I thought that they were great. And I thought her and Tyler Hoechlin did great job there. So I think that the casting for them is very, very well. I'm going to keep coming back to diabetic Pa Kent because that's what it feels like. As far as the first introduction to, see, like that hair to me looks better than the one of him when he's walking through it looks better to me. It looks more natural. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing here, but getting Krypto. So Krypto the dog, it's really funny. Like if you look at pictures of Krypto the dog, he's not mangy. And I like that they did that. I understand that people want comic book accuracy, but I do like this choice. I think it feels very James Gunn, and I enjoyed this scene here. So that scene, the first thing it made me think of, what I'll do is I'll mute it here for while I'm doing the rest of it. It made me think of that first one of that early scenes in the first trailer for Batman vs Superman. I think it's the space shuttle that Clark catches, and it's done. It's ramped slow-mo, and he's catching it. And it's like his back is compressing, and it's a great hero shot. And that's him saving an object from hitting the ground. But I enjoy the fact that this element brings in a human being that he's saving as one of your first images of him doing something heroic as Superman. Again, I do actually like this look of Lex a lot because, a lot of people with their critiques of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex, this is a very classic look. It's really funny. I was just, I was watching some YouTube shorts just yesterday, and it was from when the Arrowverse did Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they had the Powerless, the Superman, Tom Welling Superman, where he gives up his powers, and John Cryer shows up there. So you've got not his Lex with a different Superman and stuff like this, but I like this look because it's more classic. This is what I thought was funny. I mentioned Superman and Lois earlier. I've mentioned the CW, and I saw people saying that this felt CW, and this is the shot that actually did feel that way to me. It's the widescreen, almost fisheye shot. What it felt like to me in the Arrowverse, like in Arrow season 5, I believe it was James Bamford that they brought on to do the stunt coordination, and to its credit, the stunt coordination got a lot more visually interesting in that season. There's a shot in the very first episode of season 5, episode 1, that's done to be an all one take shot. They were clearly drawing their inspiration from what Marvel was doing with the Netflix Daredevil series, where Oliver basically chases anarchy across an entire building, and there's cuts in there that are beautifully well hidden, but they're there, but they're barely visible, and that a lot of that was the main shot of them moving had that wide angle feel to it, and that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that here. So look, I did not hate that either. I thought most of that looked good. The colors, again, blue and white doesn't bother me. I like that. People were critiquing the shots. Again, and here's what I'm talking about, it being too busy. Shout out to Nathan Fillion, who is awesome. But so we've got Green Lantern, we've got Doomsday, we got where I already saw Ed Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. So we've got Mr. Terrific, we've got Guy Gardner, we've got Hawk Girl. All of these characters, it's starting to feel crowded between Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific. There's just a lot going on there, and I worry that in a movie that's supposed to be great, they've said that Superman is already Superman in this. This is not an origin story. That does not mean that a movie cannot become too crowded quickly. It's very, very possible that happens. I do like the symbolism at the beginning of him starting off as he's been beaten down and then being, saved by Krypto, and by the end he is rocketing to the stars. And I do think that the shots at the end are very, very good. So between, what was it? This, like this. Okay, so again, there's Mr. Terrific. It's good. That shot I thought is beautifully done. I really, really enjoyed that. And I think, like I said, Lex has the best look. Sky by the end. Lot of characters, a lot of stuff going on. I would be interested to know what you guys thought of this, because to me, I guess my main takeaway was that I think my impression of what it was going to be was pretty blank slate. Like, I didn't have any expectation for what this was going to look like. But to me, it didn't feel like the score evoked more than the actual delivery of the product. Not to say that it wasn't fine, but that the score was reaching for something that I just personally didn't feel. And I'm 110% willing to admit that just may be a matter of personal taste as far as how trailers are cut together. It has a hopeful tone, but in a lot of ways, I think that it felt a bit like it was reaching to be something that didn't quite make it to where it was. Almost like it didn't reach the level of a studio film and felt more like a really, really, really well done, fan-made edit of a trailer. Like, you've ever watched those ones like Screen Culture, where they pull together clips from various shows and they Frankenstein a trailer of something? That's a bit of what it felt like to me. It didn't evoke the same way that the early Snyder trailers did to me, but also the tone of the industry and how I felt about these types of movies were different at that time. And it is 110% possible that by the time this trailer, by the time this movie comes out, that seeing it in the theaters, the way that it's all packaged together, I will feel very, very differently about it. I hope that they find just the right balance of character implementation, because it looks to be a crowded film as far as Superman, Lois. You've got a story to tell there. You've got these other characters that need to have their stories told. You got Lex. You got all of these people. It's a lot to do, and there's a lot to get done. Also, I did like that people are like, why are Superman and Lois just kind of like on date night while there's something catastrophic going on behind them? Maybe it's like some type of premonition, or remember those nightmare scenes in Batman vs. Superman with Batman in the desert? Like, maybe this is something like that. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see when it's done. I don't think that David Corenswet looks bad as Superman. People are very, very critical of the suit. They think the suit is cut too loosely, that the trunks some people think the trunks on the outside don't look right. I think David Corenswet visually has a great look for Superman, so we will have to wait and see. I would be interested to know down below, guys. Let me know. Look, there's a lot of baggage around movies like this right now. People don't have a lot of faith in superhero movies. DC specifically doesn't have a lot of faith, given that there has been fallout from the ending of the Snyderverse, everything that's being built since then. James Gunn has his own controversy, given that, despite as great as he is at doing team-up films like Guardians of the Galaxy, which they, of course, mention heavily in this, there's a lot of ways in which something like this can end up going wrong, and only so many ways in which you can really, really get it right and nail it. So I would be interested to know down below, guys. Look, I'm not a Superman aficionado by any means. Batman was more my thing. How cliche, I know, but I do love the idea of making a hopeful tone, of making a hopeful movie. I think that the world could really, really use it right now, not to be a bit dorky and cliche sounding, but what do you think? Is this going to be just recycled nostalgia bait studio slop, as a lot of people are predicting, or do you think that a film like this in the right hands could actually strike a chord and capture an audience in a way that we haven't seen in a long, long time? Let me know down below. What did you think of this Superman trailer? I'd be interested to read it. Talk to you soon, guys. Later. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.